My name's Drew Langley here at Glendale, Kentucky. We're about an hour south of Louisville, right here in central Kentucky. We grow corn and soybeans. My dad was a first-generation farmer. I grew up with farm life, and I loved it ever since I was little, and so I really never considered anything else, I don't think. Farming in Kentucky, yield-wise, I think we can yield with some of the top producers in the country. We've got a lot more challenges, I would say, to get to that point, more timely rainfalls. Our topsoils aren't as deep. We use cover crops, we do different things to try to preserve topsoil. This summertime in Kentucky, I tell people we're always a week away from a drought. But if we can catch those rains, then these can yield with the best of them, but we've got a few more challenges to get to that point. We got to make a profit on this year's crop, but making a profit on this year's crop at the sacrifice of the next 10 years is not going to be sustainable. We've had a big pivot in the last 5-6 years. We've started planting soybeans a lot earlier. We've learned that sunlight is a huge factor for soybeans, and so the way to capture more sunlight is to get them in the ground earlier and let them grow. This year we started that last week of March, 27th, 28th range. About end of the first week of April, they were calling for some rain, 5, 6, 7 inches. We thought that's a lot of rain. Hopefully we can handle it. We've got some cover crops, we've got different things, and hopefully we won't get quite what they're saying. Well, we ended up with 14, 15 inches of rain. And so you can imagine the river, our little local rivers, they were out of the banks, they were flooded. They came up really fast and flooded a lot of areas, but just the standing water from having that much, that was more of a challenge and has been more of a pain than the actual rivers getting out. And so yeah, we had to fight 14 inches of water standing around for 2 weeks in the middle of April when you want to plant corn and beans both. As a total percent of acres, we didn't have a ton of acres flooded, but we did have, every field had the low basin areas were holding water, and so even when the rest of the field was dried out ready to plant, you still had all those basins that were holding water, and so we didn't want to go in there and try to start planting around all those low spots, so we waited in March, and then by the time we could actually replant, that was probably, some of it was almost a month later. And so as I got to thinking, what is harvest going to look like on the backside if we go in and replant these a month later, where we were planting maybe a 3.9 or a 4.0 maturity soybean, we backed those replants up to a 2.9 or something, try to shorten that maturity up, so hopefully they'll catch up. So at harvest, we will, hopefully, the plan is to be able to go in there at the same time, not even be able to tell the difference, and harvest those together where we don't have to come back just for 2 separate harvests. There's so many decisions on the farm you make, and most of them are from experience and normally the hard way, but there's lots of things we try to plan to avoid obstacles and avoid problems going forward. And we know we're going to have some, but hopefully we minimize them. The challenges that the state and the area have had to go through, it's been hard on a lot of people, but they're good people, they persevere, they're resilient, and we can always see light at the end of the tunnel, I think, because we're the eternal optimists. I can't explain the drive I have to want to do what we do, but it's there and we enjoy it. We don't see it as work, it's what we do, and we've been blessed and we know where our blessings come from, and hopefully we can enjoy it as long as we can.